Um, so today we have Mr. R. Giridharan with us, who has a multifaceted personality. He is currently a journal manager with the Reserve Bank of India and also an international sports commentator with the All India Radio, who has covered many test matches and one-day internationals, including the World Cup. He has further anchored many panel discussions on Doordarshan and compared shows, and has now recently published a crime thriller called Right Under Your Nose. So, welcome, sir, and please tell us a little about what inspired you to write this crime thriller.
Thank you, Snowy, for the flattering introduction. Uh, and it's just about, the kind of conversation that we were having before the interview. I find that whenever people talk of crime thrillers, the names that always come to the first names that come on people's tongues are Agatha Christie, Sherlock Holmes, etc. So, what I wanted was why can't we have an original Indian thriller of the same quality? And then I was also inspired by the Japanese author Yogisha Ikusu no Kinshu. He wrote that book, Devotion of Suspect. And
Okay.
that was another inspiration for me because he brought about a Japanese context into a thriller. There is a Japanese culture. You feel as if you are in one of the cities of Japan, and the murder is taking place in that context, the social life and everything. So I wanted to do the same, bringing the Indian context and an Indian thriller. And original, there should be no copying from any of the classics. It was entirely original. That's what was the inspiration kind of thing.
That sounds lovely, sir. Of course. I mean, we've had some really good, we need some really good Indian thrillers, Indian in an Indian context and cultural, so that people can relate more to it and understand it better. So, what would you say is really special about this book?
Uh, well, like all crime thrillers, it's a fast-paced book full of twists and turns. But the special things are this is a book in which science meets crime. And then the murders are committed in unimaginable ways. For instance, two people drink from the same glass at the same time. One dies of poison, the other doesn't. And the forensic investigations leave no clue as to whether how did the person die, despite it happening in front of 100 people. This murder happens, the poisoning happens in front of 100 people. And as I said, two people drink from the same glass, one doesn't, and one dies. Then another person dies within minutes of entering a closed hotel room. And again, no poison is found anywhere. He drinks orange juice, but no poison found there. No one could have entered that. And how within 5 minutes this murder happened? So, how did the murders happen? Is one, yeah, I think you wanted to say something, Snowy?
No, no, sir.
Yeah, how did the murders happen is something that will rack your brains and itself thrill you. Then there is, of course, the who done it, that who did these murder, committed these murders, and there are quite a few suspects. But then eventually, when they zero in on the suspect, then the villain is always ahead of the protagonists. So it's a race against time when they have to get the clinching evidence against the villain. And the best part, according to me, is that the answers lie right under the nose of both the protagonists and the villains. That's why I gave the title, because people go round the world. They go round the world trying to hide all the evidences. The villain is doing that, trying to erase all evidences around the world. The heroes are chasing the villain and evidences around the world. And finally, they find that there is an evidence right under their noses, which is what solves the this mystery. So that's, I think that's what is special about the book.
Right, sir. Um, this sounds really intriguing, and I'm pretty sure will keep the reader hooked till the very last page. The storyline is very, very interesting. So, would you like to shed some light on the characters, the kind of characters? Since the storyline is so interesting, I'm pretty sure the characters are too.
Yeah, and the characters will be very relatable to you because they are the ordinary Indian city dwellers like you and me. So they battle the same kind of frustrations that we all do, and they go through the same kind of trials in life. That is at work, at relationships, all the same problems that we all face in our daily life. And the best part is that there are very strong female characters as well in this. So we and the life is just the normal that you have in India, taking an auto rickshaw, having traffic jams, electricity cuts, and what an Indian will relate to. That's why, and this is based in Nagpur, a tier two city of India, and you will relate that very easily to the life that you have in tier two cities. Yourself coming from Nainital, you will find it very, very relatable to that.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Like I said, I'm looking forward to, getting introduced to all these wonderful characters in the storyline that there is to it. So apart from this, if one must answer and on being asked, who would you say has helped you in writing the book in a way or another?
In many ways, first of all, my wife must be given the lion's share of credit because she cooperated with it. You come back from office. She's also at that point of time. I mean, she's also a working woman. Right now, she's taken off. She's an architect. So I would come back from office and maybe get to writing the book. So, but then she never objected to it and always facilitated, helped, and enabled the writing of the book. Then my daughter was always around asking pesky questions, which also at times provided some material and fodder for the book. Then I must thank Mane Gaonkar. Mane Gaonkar is basically an officer, an assistant manager in the Reserve Bank of India, Pune. So I don't know how to type. As I told you, I'm technologically challenged. So I wrote the book by hand. I would write the pages by hand with the pen. Then I would send them by post to Mane Gaonkar. Later, of course, we began the WhatsApp part, but then I would send them by post. Mane Gaonkar would type it. He would send back the original manuscript along with the type manuscript, of course, over mail. Then I would tell the correction. So Mane Gaonkar typed over and over again, and that's how the manuscript was ready, and we could give it to the publishers. Then I must also acknowledge Dr. Anjali Goel, a doctor in Reserve Bank of India's Delhi office. She was the one who explained a lot of medical aspects which are there in this particular thriller. She took me to the morgue also, where I could see how morgues are and how certain forensics are done. So her contribution was immense. Then, of course, there was an editor called Coral Das Gupta. So I took her services, and Coral Das Gupta tightened the text and made it publisher worthy. And then there was Sohail Mathur, who basically brought me and Rupa together. And finally, Rupa, the publications, they did their own way. They made the cover, they had their own editor. So all of them put together, and probably all of them put together brought about the book. And people like you also who are trying to talk about the book. I am grateful to people like you as well.
Thank you so much, sir. Rupa Publication House is a really good publication house, so I'm pretty sure that is why the cover looks so amazing and you know intriguing in itself and attractive. Um, so, sir, like once now you're done with this book, what do you see yourself doing next?
Well, if you're talking from the authorship point of view, In the pipeline, there is a sequel to this book, another crime thriller, as a sequel to this, with the protagonist being being the same. The antagonist would differ, and it would be in the same genre where again one would struggle to find out how the murders were done and who is the suspect. So, and then again, whereas in the first book, most of the characters were the typical uh, middle class, office going, and kind of characters. In the second book, I am going a little into the underbelly of the society as well. So certain more shady things will be there in the second book. It's a sequel to this. I'm also co-authoring a book on anger management. So both these writings are happening simultaneously. And depending on the response to this book, the strategic decisions regarding the launch of the others will be taken.
It's good to know that you already have a sequel in mind, and I wish you all the best. And I'm pretty sure that the book will do wonders, and you know, will be a major success given the storyline, the characters, and everything that you've talked about. And it feels like I already want to just get on it and start reading. So I'm sure that's how your readers are gonna feel too. Um, Anything else that you'd like to add?
First of all, thank you, Snowy, for all these kinds of feelings, and I hope the readers also reciprocate that. And I'll tell you something. There are certain very interesting snippets in the book, and I actually writing this book during the research. As I said, I went to morgues, and I also went to a snake charmer to see how exactly they train the snake, how a snake charmer trains the snake. I went to a snake charmer, and that's an interesting and important part in this book because that sequel gives an answer to how the murder was committed as well. So most Indians, foreigners look at Indians as a country of snake charmers, but no Indian would generally know, at least of this generation. I don't think you know how a snake charmer trains a snake and what are the difficulties he faces in his trade. So I have covered that as well in the book.
That sounds very, very interesting, and you're absolutely right. We would love to know. I think people in my generation are not very updated on these aspects, and probably an angle in a thriller that relates to it would help us get an understanding of things that we sometimes just are oblivious to. So that sounds wonderful. And thank you so much for talking to us about your book. And it's an honor to have you here. Um, all right.
Thank you. Sir. It was a pleasure talking
Thanks.
to you as
Okay, sir.
well. Okay. Bye.